along, whether or not they do good or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a really tough pill to swallow, in my opinion, because we're talking about the future. Uh, one public school can probably make up at least three private schools, even more. And that's where most of our people are going to, and for them to be just filtered and passed through like it's nothing, because there's nothing we can do for them, so they're not going to learn. They're not, that there's a certain point where people are, where they say, okay, this person can't retain anything. There's no retention in this student, so we're not going to require them to learn because they can't learn.
I can't, like, somewhat where they, for lack of a better word, they give up on the students' potential to learn, or to push them and motivate them to gain that passion for learning,
Right.
and which sets them up for success down the line,
Right.
in their jobs, in their careers, but even at the next grade level, at
Right.
that. I wonder at what point do they decide that? How old the person or the student should be? Like, do they figure that out like third grade? Fourth grade?
I'm really not too sure, but I'm pretty sure it's fairly at a young age. And it sounds like I'm blaming the public school system for the problems, but no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not blaming them. It's just that our system is old. The American public school system, the American educational system is so old. The books are so outdated. Look at when we were going to school. We were reading books printed in the late 80s, early 90s, and remember in high school, how many teachers just told us, put your books away. We're giving it to you, but we're never going to use it.
I think half the teachers said that.
And
Except for math teachers.
the fortunate thing about us is that we went to a private school, so they can do that. Yeah, there's a curriculum, but it's not a nationwide system-based curriculum.
Right. It's not uniform like a public school system.
Right.
Like they gotta follow
this according to every school that's doing it.
Yeah.
So in private school, basically you teach what you want. So it's how do we translate that? Even they were saying that the private schools can run off of little money and still produce.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. And still produce like quality students. But why can't the public education system do that? See, then again, it sounds like I'm blaming the public education system when really it starts at home. It really starts at home.
I think it does too.
That's where it starts. If you're not spending time with your kids and learning with your kids and helping them learn,
you just said something. I think you hit something there. Learning with your kids, not just making them do their homework. When you come home, kids, all right, that's do your homework and let me know when you're done, and I'll check your work. No, sometimes you gotta learn with your kids. All right, we have Jerry say some private schools have a set curriculum.
Oh yeah, of course, but it's not a curriculum based on the public education system. It's very they don't teach theology in public schools and stuff, so it kind of deviates from that. But I don't know.
No, okay. Seeing as she wants to come in and shed some light on that stuff, but that's okay. But yeah, man, going back to the parents, the starting at home, and I think that has to do also with like language as well. Same thing, same. It's like the same concept. It's like you gotta nurture your kid at the most basic level. Like as soon as they come home, or you know, I know everyone's busy. I don't have kids, so I'm just speculating this thing and how I would end up, you know, how I would end up doing this is, you know, my kid comes home, or when I see them and they're doing their homework, I want to go and see what they're learning at that point in time. Make sure my kid understands what they're doing and why they're doing it. Because I see it a lot of times, you know, when you go to school, when I go to school, it's like, okay, guys, we're learning this. And a lot of times when you're learning something, they don't give you the big picture. They kind of just give you 1 + 1 = 2. Not, you need to know 1 + 1, because when you're counting your money, you know, that's how you're going to have to figure out, you know, how much you have to pay. I mean, they do that, but when you're getting trained at a new job, a lot of times the trainers are lazy. They don't want to spend time nurturing you in your career, in your jobs, and they're just like, okay, do this, do that, and then do this, and you're kind of just left with like, why are we doing this specific task this way? What is the bigger picture here? Are we, you know, what are we doing? Are we paying? Is the business paying another business, and I'm processing all these invoices? So I don't know. It's kind of that thing where people are just throwing the knowledge out there, and whether you catch it or not, they don't really care. You know, so not all teachers are like that. No. That's not what I'm saying. It's more, there's a disconnect between the motivation to learn and actually learning. Like
I heard this thing that the biggest problem, and right when the dude said it, it was on another podcast. I believe it was on the Tim Ferriss show podcast. He goes, the biggest problem, not Tim, but his guest said that they've already lost once they say, is this going to be on the test? You know, their retention for learning is no longer as wide as it is, as they can take whatever they can get. It's now narrowed down to like, okay, all I need to learn is what's going to be on the test, you know?
Yeah, dude. So in my class that I'm in, it's interesting that you say that, because I'm with I go to a school where there's a lot of international students. So you have people from Europe, from Hawaii, and just all over the place. And it's a class, a finance class. And every time we're going through the slides of the teacher slides, the students say, "Sir, is this going to be on the test?" And I'm looking at them like, doesn't matter if it's going to be, it's all going to be on the test, because
right.
Well, you wouldn't be teaching it if it wasn't on the test. And even if it wasn't on the test, you should still be sucking up whatever it is in front of you. It's not just, okay, I'm going to filter out and know only what's on the test just so I can get a good grade, just so I can get my straight A's, get my 4.0 and be the valedictorian or whatnot.
Right.
And when you said that, it's like, I kind of had almost like a bad taste in my mouth when I heard them say that, and I was like, you guys aren't here to learn.
Yeah, they're not there to learn shit.
Yeah,
they're there to figure out how to get by. Yeah, how to get to the end. Right.
I mean, and I'm not the best student, but I mean, you know, I'm not there to figure out what's on the test and what's not. I mean, going to school for almost 25 years, you know what's going to be on the test. It's obvious. You spend way more time on that particular topic, and that's obviously going to be on the test. But I mean, to ask the teacher, is this going to be on the test? The teacher just looked at him like you stupid. Anyways, it's just really interesting that you said that. What? Go ahead.
Well, it's when it comes to education, it's all encompassing. Whether it's the teachers, whether it's the school system, whether it's the parents at home, everybody has to really like come together and really try to look forward to the future of the student. You know, like I was even told, man, I was told some really a lot of things that I didn't expect to hear. You know, like there's kids that don't know how to use the bathroom, dude. You know,
What do you mean?
there's kids that don't know how to use a toilet, shit like that, bro. And there's kids that don't know how to. Hello, yeah, and just like that, we're gone. But anyways, Valena got off air. But you know, there just all this stuff, and it really freaked me out. You know, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. In But that's just the way it is. That's just the reality of how everything is and how everything is supposed to be, and how shit. But it doesn't have to be that way. You know, it really doesn't have to be that way. Hey, you're back. Hey, what's up?
All right, yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right.
I saw you disappear and I was like, oh man, it's just me.
Yeah, sorry guys. I realized why I was getting so much freaking echo is because I had like 4 different blab windows open. So I'm freaking super good now. Next time, don't open 5 blabs. Just 5 blabs.
You know, that's what I was thinking, because I was doing that. That's why I was getting the monitor feedback on me, because I could hear myself from the freaking blab window.
Right. But anyways, going back to learning, we both went to FD, and what I learned at FD and what I've been learning in college and then in masters, and what a degree means to me personally is I learn how to learn, or even better yet,
right. And it's so crazy because there's people who don't know how to learn.
Right.
So when the people that don't know how to learn, people freak out and they give up on them, and so you know there's no patience. And really, we need to. I don't know if this will get me, like, if people will not like me, but dude, they need to get the old teachers out of there and bring in some new fresh minds into the freaking teaching community, because we can't roll with this stuff back in the 80s. Like the same lady that's teaching my sister taught me and taught my older sister and taught my dad. Like, come on.
Well,
how old is that system, yo?
I have to interject here. I don't think they should take out the old teachers, but I agree with you on them bringing in the new teachers, and then collaborating with each other so that you don't think so? Well, I think
I don't know, dude.
Well, it depends. Because not all older teachers. I don't want to say old. Let's older. All the wiser older teachers. They
wiser, right?
Wait. I have to interject here because they have experience. That's what they have. They know how to control the classroom. That's for sure. I can say that most older teachers, well, I don't know. I can't. That's speaking in general. But there is some things that they can bring to the table, which is classroom. They call it classroom management, and making sure everyone's paying attention, at least, unless you go to FD and everybody's just wild and crazy during class and no one's paying attention sometimes, and the teacher can't control you. That doesn't happen there. No.
Yeah, but I'm also saying that FD, it's not. I mean, private schools aren't like the most perfect thing. No, because we still have our fuck ups. You know, we still have people who's fucked up and didn't make it through, you know, didn't make it through the school, or didn't even after they graduated, nothing. You know
what's that kind of
but hold on. Let me finish my thought here.
Okay, sorry.
But there's also kids from public school who make it through and who actually succeed in life after high school. So it's who do you really blame it on? You know, it's like if the person's willing to learn, then they're willing to learn. If they're willing to succeed, then they're willing to succeed. But the thing about it, the products of success coming out of public school is much smaller than the products of success coming out of private school in Guam, not in the United States, in Guam. You know, with the few people who have graduated from private schools, the success rate is much higher than the masses who have graduated from the public schools.
That is undeniably, you know, that's a fact. But
yeah,
dude,
there's success in both, right?
There are some people, the public school system, you know, I went to do an exchange student 1 year in high school, and I'm not going to disclose which school I went to, but at that school, the way the high school classroom was set up, it's typical, you know, you come into class and there are rows of seats are a typical classroom setting, but the way the class was the informal social arrangement of the class was all the people in the front. It was like the teachers in the front, and there was like maybe like a handful of students that were way in the front that were paying attention to the lesson, and then everybody in the back was just cruising, like chilling. They were just strolling. If they would kind of pay attention, but they'd more like to pop jokes at the teacher. And then some people would come in half the class late, will walk out. I'm like, I don't just say that, like, this is so interesting how, like, I'm sitting there in the middle. I was in the middle of the class, so I was half listening and half.
So you came, yeah. So you came from a private school into a public school, and so it was almost like a culture shock for you.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, because I came from public school first, and then I went to a private school for middle school, right? And so it was very different from me. I exactly what you talked about. That's how I went to school. You know, you sat in the back, you fuck around. You know, you sit in the front, you're paying attention. There's people fucking around all the time. You know, there's people causing trouble. You know, and
they're kind of in the back.
Right.
They're sitting on the chairs, not the chairs in the back, but the cabinets that are in the back of the classroom. They're sitting up there like who knows what they're doing, bothering the people in the middle, because they're not going to bother the people in the front. That's the interesting thing, is there's like a social thing going on in that classroom and the teacher allows it, because going back to the thing we started off in the way beginning of the class is like at one point they gave up on, you know, those people in the back. They're like, you know what, I'm not, you know, they're not going to try and really motivate those guys in the back to come to the front and learn, or to facilitate an actual real classroom experience. But they just leave they just let them go, and that's what we were talking about first.
And I'm sure as the students get older, the fuck it, I don't give a fuck, just let them go kind of just goes, you know, it kind of just goes, yeah, it reaffirms it that, okay, never mind, they're not going to make it anyways, I don't need to pay attention to them, they're not worth my time. But I really see that with just older teachers, you know. But then you start putting younger teachers in. Maybe, how about this? You just give the fucking old teachers to like the high schoolers and the middle schoolers, and then the young teachers to the, you know, the easier disciplined kids.
They're not that
to the young teachers.
They're not. I hear stories, and they are anything but. They're probably disciplined like 3% of the time, and that's probably because they want something from the teacher. You know, they want to go play, or they want to do something if they're good. But you know, I think that's interesting. I didn't know that when I went to that public school, and you're telling me that that's how it was when you were the easiest. Okay, so we have a viewer in here that says the easiest way to change the seat is to change the seat each day. Can you elaborate a little bit more what you mean by that? I think he's talking about us. Some teachers believe that the students are held accountable for their learning. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what you say? Because this is what I think Jerry's saying. Jerry just replied, some teachers believe that the students are held accountable for their learning. I'm thinking that the teachers are going to teach and the students need a want to learn. But that's the thing we're trying to say is like, whose responsibility is it to get
It's everybody's responsibility. It's the teacher's responsibility when they go home. It's the school system. I mean, not when they go home, when they go to school, it's the school system's responsibility when they go to school, and it's the parents' responsibility when they go home. Like we said earlier, most parents don't spend time with their kids, especially these days. You know, okay, go ahead. You can go to your go play on your iPad, go play on your iPhone, go do whatever the fuck you want, you know? But it's not, let's sit down and we have a problem here. It may not be a family problem, but it may be like, okay, you broke something, let's fix it. Right. You know? The learning ends for most people right when they step off campus.
Right when the bell rings.
Right. And sometimes the learning doesn't even happen at all. You know, they go there and they're just like boom, 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 boom. You know, it's nothing. Learning doesn't even matter. And if we can encourage people to want to learn and to want to learn outside of school, that's the main thing. You know, you just got to learn. You got to be willing to learn outside of school. You got to be willing for that. And that's just my opinion, though. I wish I can have the person I was talking to on the podcast, because it was literally, we went on for an hour, like a couple hours, just like literally just going off.
You should have just broke out the mics and podcasted right there. They're like, oh, you know what? This is good. We're just gonna get podcast this. So Jerry said there are some parents who don't even care,
and that's very true. That's so true, dude.
You know, she comes home. Jerry, by the way, is my girlfriend, and so she's a teacher at a second grade teacher at one of the private schools out here. It's a Catholic private school, and sorry, Jerry, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to just share some stories that we talk about. Don't worry, I won't mention names or anything, but she comes and says, you know, she does her best to try. Sometimes let's say there's a student, and I can relate to that student because I was kind of a naughty, don't pay attention to the teacher, but I you know, they say, oh, he's so, you know, if he wants to learn, he'll learn, but he's just too talkative and he's just too naughty, but when he does sit down and learn, he's okay. And so there's some students there that their attention span or
it's like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's 5 seconds, literally, no matter how old they get. And the teacher's trying to facilitate the class, right? And what happens is the student just, no matter how bad the teacher wants to help them and wants to teach them, and even one-on-ones with the student just they're uninterested. They're more interested in Pokemon, or I don't know, that's what I was interested. But like whatever it is of the time, those yo-yo things, or what do you call it? The kendamas. Like they just want to play their kendama all day.
Yo-yo,
you know, and they just want to eat their classmates' snacks all the time, because you know I heard this, like someone just ate someone else's snacks. It's like, did you do it? No, it wasn't me. And you could see the crumbs of Oreo on the side of their mouth. They're like, don't lie to me. You ate that stuff. But anyways, it's kind of like they're more social. They just want to be social. They don't, you know, they don't
Right.
want to learn. They just want to hang out and you know, not really progress their mind, just progress the relationships with their classmates. And so you have that factor in there where the teacher really wants to do their best to help them and teach them, but
it's really up to the student, you know.
I think it starts at home, to be honest. I'm just gonna have to defend Jerry, and just because I know she wants to teach him, but I think it starts at home. Whenever I hear this stuff, it's like, what did these parents do with their kids when the bell rings and they come pick them up? Like, what do they do right after that? Where do they take them? Do they take
how many kids do you see walking around, whether it's in Hawaii, whether it's here on Guam?
Right.
How many do you see with either headphones in their ears walking next to their parents, or in their phone or on their iPad or whatever it may be? That it's a literally a disconnect. There's no more connection from child to parent, you know, in that sense, because, and you know, that's not their fault. That's society's fault, because we allow it.
Yeah. How often do you see them walking with their parents, holding, and the kids holding the iPhones or the iPad, and the parents holding the iPad too, and they're not talking to each other,
Right.
and at least they're not even. I can expect if I can understand if the kids on Khan Academy learning, all this stuff, all this stuff, this free stuff on KhanAcademy.com, but he's watching, superheroes and whatever, and um and I think it does start in the early age. And I'm gonna go on the limb and blame the parents, not the teachers, not those old teachers or whoever we're saying. I'm gonna just go out there and say, you know what? It starts with the parents. It starts with fostering a learning environment in their house. Like what I've learned over the years is, how to learn. I was saying, but the best way to learn is to put yourself in the same spot that you learn really well in. So if that's your man cave, in your room in front of your Mac, and you have your own space and you come there and you are productive, you need to create that space every single time. And you need to go into that space every single time. And that's what you're going to do in that space. You're not going to do, anything else besides do your focusing there. You can focus on other things, but you should try and just use that specific space to be productive, like your production zone. That's what.
Yeah, but you got to remember that a lot of people aren't as fortunate to have production zones.
Well, it doesn't have to be a full on in front of your. I just gave an example, like in front of your computer, but that could be your side of the house, where if you like noise, then you go in the living room in that left section of the sofa, with that same small table, the little tables that photo tables that everybody has, and if everyone's watching TV and you need that to study, you go and you study every single time at that time to do it. And what happens is your brain just starts to get used to that, get used to the productive feeling, and you start to learn more, and it fosters a better learning environment to you. But yeah, I say it starts at home. I don't know. I think it starts at home. Personally, that's what I think. So, I don't know. Just went on a rant there, but yeah,
it really and you're not wrong.
I'm also not right either. So,
but you're definitely not wrong. And it comes to a point where it's almost like life. You can't help everybody. You is it wrong for a teacher to pick and choose who they want to learn just because they're willing to learn? Or is it wrong for a teacher to decide, oh, I see this kid has potential? Or is it wrong for a teacher to say, no, they're not learning anything, so I'm not going to teach them anything. There's no use, so I'm going to pass it. No, it's not wrong for them, because really there's nothing they can do. You can't help everybody as much as you want to help the world. And the person I was talking to who's a teacher, they said you literally have to love teaching. You have to want to teach. Teaching is something that you just can't pick up a job like cooking somewhere, or cleaning up someplace. Right. It's really, you have to love it. You have to either love children or love to watch people learn and watch people think. And it's just need to get the old fogies out of there, man. that's the fucking conclusion that I come down to.
I agree, man. I agree. But what's really interesting,
promote the old fogies up to like administrative positions. Yeah, you're totally right, dude. You're totally right.
He said that Jay Elijah says, if the instructor don't care, we might not either. Dude, that is so true. That is so freaking true. We had a teacher at FD. His name was Professor Dan Kelp. I swear to God, that was one of my favorite classes ever.
I don't know if he's a professor, but
sorry, I'm just so used to saying professor now. He's a professor to me. He's a life professor to me. This guy in our class, we got FD's an all boys school. If you're joining us from a random part in the world, it's an all boys school for high school, and he taught a world history class. And this guy taught a world history class like you were watching a friggin' action-packed TV show. But
that's fucking
he was
true.
just talking. he was just talking. I mean, he would
The
literally,
enthusiasm,
yeah.
dude. I was literally just talking about this last night, bro. That's so
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
So he was like, he would be like, let's say, we're talking about Alexander the Great and how or he was talking about the Greeks and the types of weapons they have. He would be like, yeah, so these guys had these long, super long spears, and that was their tactical advantage, and they would stab guys like this, and he would be animated, and it was like it was hard to sleep in that class. But if you did sleep, this guy would take an eraser, and this is an all boys school, so you can do this, and it's a private school. He would take an eraser, chalk that sucker up, all the loose chalk, and if you were sleeping, he would go up to you and he would stop the class, so everyone's watching him, and he would walk up to the guy and he'll just like bang his head with the eraser. Right? He wouldn't. It's a soft eraser, right? So, and we're in all guys school, and if you can't take that, then dude, there's something wrong with you. And you would bash it. So you would come out of class, and when you're changing classes, you're waiting for his class to come out, and so you're looking at everybody's head, and the person with who slept because his head's full of chalk and his head's full of chalk.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the way Dan Kelp is his teaching style to me was also it was second to none. I had no qualms about how his style was. He goes, I have books. I'm required to give you these books, but I can't teach out of it because it's not useful. I don't want to teach out of these books because it's not useful. And so that's what he would do right before class. He would come in, fill up the whole entire chalkboard with writing, and right there you're taken on a historical journey through this guy's enthusiasm of how he teaches history because he loved history so much. And to me, it really, I know a lot of teachers are bound by certain things to where they can't really teach the way they want to.
Right.
If you have really good, because of the curriculum, because of standards, because of public school standards, and all these different kinds of things that people have to follow.
Man,
really, if you're a good teacher and you have a way to get people engaged and in wanting to learn, why are you gonna stop that? Why are you gonna stop people from doing that? Look at Bonifacio. Look at Mr. Bonifacio, the way he taught us theology. It wasn't according to the colorful pictures inside the theology book and stuff. It was according to it was philosophical religion. That's what he was feeding us. And a lot of us didn't really understand that and couldn't grasp that at that time. When he would ask you, who are you?
Yeah,
who are you? No, not your name. I don't want to know your name. I want to know who you are. Right. And he was helping us think on that kind of level, a level that maybe a lot of people don't think in our age, at least in that age range. And so if you have a really good way of teaching people how to do things, I say do it. If you have a special way to teach math, if you have a special way to teach science, like to me, math, science, all that stuff is really important. Spelling, memorizing vocabulary words, freaking anything that you can Google these days. Fuck it, dude. We don't even need that. We don't need that stuff. Seriously, man.
Yeah, man.
Just keep it to the maths and the sciences, and encourage people to want to learn, and encourage people to engage in what everything is about. Like, dude, look at history. Look at Guam's history. How many people really know about Guam's history? And really understand what our people have been through. Even from the Filipino slaves who were brought over by the Spanish, and from the people who were affected by the Spanish going into, affected by the Spanish when the Spanish came back in the 1500s. How much the lives of our people who live here, the indigenous people of Guam, how much their lives were affected because of outsiders. They were introduced to new diseases. They were introduced to new cultures. They were introduced to metals. They were introduced to all kinds of things. They forget boats. Imagine you're an islander in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, and all you know is your canoe, and all you know is that's it. Your canoe, your fishing, and your house, your hut. And then all of a sudden you see a Spanish frigate with cannons all over, boom, lining up the sea.
That's scary. I'm scared.
What would you think, bro?
I'm kind of
Yeah, bro.
Just thinking about that kind of thing, dude.
And
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No. I can imagine. I mean, I think I probably would have thought it was like Doomsday or not Doomsday, Judgment Day or something like the Hawaiian side.
well, the Chamorros they were pagan, right? So a lot of the Pacific Islanders were pagan. They were mostly animal spirit, animal worshippers, right?
Spirits.
So yeah.
That's interesting. I don't know what they thought, what they could have been thinking, like what those things were, like maybe they thought it was a god. I'm not too sure. I wonder. That's something to ask. Probably Poly Eric or something. Maybe he might know something about that.
Shed some light.
Yeah, he might be able to shed some light on our Sinus series in regards to that.
Oh man, his DVD is great.
Yeah,
dude.
shoot.
It's really great, dude. You gotta watch it. It's called I Am Chamorro, and it's all about the history of our people here on Guam. And it shows that our people are not just one blood. It's not just one bloodline anymore. It's a culmination of different races and ethnicities that has come here, from the Spanish to the Chinese to the Japanese to Native Americans. They found evidence of Native American DNA in Chamorro people.
Whoa! Oh, that's right.
So-
that's right.
That person from National Geographic that did that study, right?
That's
And-
interesting, man.
And so how Native Americans got over to Guam is when the Spanish left Mexico, Central America area, they brought Native American, I don't know if they were slaves or helpers or what, or workers, but definitely they came here. Yeah, they were Native American. And that's a history. It's a long, deep history that a lot of people don't recognize living here. And all the way back to the pre-Laddie period, before they started building Laddie stones. Like, did you know that they have Laddie stone huts in Indonesia?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wait,
so there's
similar.
So there's temples with engravings on it. Fuck. Am I able to share screen on this thing or no?
I don't think so. We'll go through it. We're gonna do some upgrades. I found some stuff that we could actually share screens on, but Blab does not let us share screens just yet. But I'm super digging this Blab. But go ahead and while you pull up your stuff, you can't. We can't show screens. But what I know we can do is, we had a second computer we could call in and maybe use the screen somehow later there, so we can show it on the bottom, like the third window. I thought of that too. We could do that so people can see and research with us. I don't think we can screen share, but so they have these.
So if you here, I'll just put it in the chat here. So if you're watching, if you just Google Indonesia temples Laddie stones, so these Laddie stones are stones that our people put their homes on, and Guam's in the middle of the Pacific, and they go to Indonesia, and on these temples, you have these engravings of Laddie stone huts, houses, raised elevated houses on stones in the shape of a Laddie stone. And if you Google Laddie stone Guam, it's all related. So they found a correlation between that. Okay, maybe our people have gone. Like this is where the migration started. You know, in the they call it the Austronesian migration. And so what happened? They all came down. I wish I had a map. So they all came down from Indonesia, and then they all kind of just all dispersed throughout the Pacific Ocean. Right. And there are actually, according to the DVD from Polly Eric, there are actually two separate migrations, two different migrations.
Right.
And so I forget what I think the second migration might have comprised of the darker, poorer caste system. So there was a caste system on Guam back in the day, and it was a matrilineal caste system. It was a matrilineal based system, and that's where the female is the main root of the family, because the whole idea is that you don't know who the father is, but you definitely know who the mother is.
Yep,
right?
I remember that, learning that too in Guam history class too as well. I mean, dude, okay. So what I find interesting, about that is in the mainland, in the U.S. mainland, or even here in Hawaii, their tracking of their lineage, or tracking their lineage, was very important to them. Like writing down who is your father and your grandmother, and then your great and great all the way up. Like they can trace, like if you take a European bloodline person in the mainland, or even in Europe, there are more likely records of their grandparents. Like if you go to ancestor.com, I think you can see some records of them going through like Ellis Island, and then you probably can search back in Spain on who these people were. But in the Guam culture, or in our culture, it was like nobody thought to write that down. It wasn't as important. I feel like maybe they didn't think it was as important to
well, there was no real writing system. It was pictographs. It was a lot of pictographs back then. So and a lot of tradition was passed down through oral tradition.
Yeah. So so I guess that's interesting to me, and it's like I wished that they had figured out how to write or something. Like I wish they wrote this stuff down. I feel like that's part of the reason or contributing factor to the culture and the like how much Chamorro you are, you know what I mean, or how much real Chamorro is a blood do you really have. And here in Hawaii, they can trace it down to the like percentage or whatever, because they document it. Like you're really Hawaiian because the Hawaiians, like, they wrote it down.
Yeah, when they were colonized, they were basically doing censuses. They're counting everybody on the island.
Not here.
And they kind of, I think the Spanish kind of did the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. But it's
anyways, I don't want to dive into.
You gotta imagine, you gotta remember how many hands Guam has been changed through. It's been changed through the Spanish. It's been changed, or at least even the Marianas, the Spanish, the Germans, the Americans, the Japanese. Look at that. That's already 4 different races. And everything, things get lost, dude. Things get lost in translation. Things get lost in transition.
Yeah, man. It's such a
things get lost in change.
It's such an interesting way that the events happened, or that that how Guam is where it is today. And with the people that's there, it's just such an interesting chain of events that it led up to that. How everything is, the culture on Guam, everything, just how things are at home when you're at home, evolved and mixed in now with this flat, like, now the earth is just flat, or the world is really completely flat, or not flat is that
yeah,
the word?
No, that's the correct, dude. It's flat because that's definitely the word. There's a book called The World is Flat, and the World is Flat 2.0, and it's basically how the advancement in technology has has allowed the world to become flat, because now you can, I guess I'm speaking not in the sense that you're speaking, but when in an economic sense, it's I can build something, I can design something in my computer at home, and I can get software in America, parts in China, rubber stoppers in Australia, and have it all built in Saipan.
It's great though. I mean, just the culture is gonna evolve, and I'm so interested to see how it's gonna evolve with this flat world that we're living in, and more people are learning about Guam and the Marianas, actually, even as well. They're learning about these places. Like there hasn't been, every time I say, they say, where are you at, where are you from, Tony, where are you from? And, I'm from a place I'm from a place called Guam, and they say, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh, okay, what? Oh, okay. I'm like, do you know where that is? And they're like, yeah, of course we know where it is. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'm getting a lot more. Of course I know where that is, rather than, no, I don't know where that is. Do you guys live in grass huts and have skirts? Wear skirts?
Truthfully, man, when I first, maybe like 10 years ago, not 10 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, 10 years ago. About 10 years. Holy shit.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago, it was like that, man. There was such an ignorance, dude. I go and I went to school in Arizona, and it's Guatemala. Where's Guam? Do you guys have cars there? Do you have cable? You speak good English? I'm like, dude, like, we're American. I'm just as American as you. Like, if you read in the history books, we're just as American as you. We got everything. Now we got Ruby Tuesdays and IHOP. That makes us even more American.
Craft beer? Are you guys getting into craft beer now? Yes. God, I'm like happy for that. When I go home, I love
dude.
Beer out here.
The craft beer extravaganza. It's awesome. I love craft beer too. I kind of look at domestic beers in a whole different light now. But it's kind of crazy, because even like Anheuser-Busch owns all the craft beer companies.
That's awesome, dude. Anheuser-Busch is a huge.
Bevmo's buying fucking everybody.
Holy cow. Yeah, but I mean, anyways, I think we're almost at our mark. Unless you want to just keep going.
Yeah, we're at the mark. Dude, I gotta head back to the viewing, dude.
Let's wait. We forgot to kind of throw out the what we got coming up for the episodes we did last week. That
Go for it.
So yeah, guys, just a heads up. Our this podcast, or this live show, should be going out on your podcast players. For those who couldn't join us today, this is episode number 37 30. I think we got 38 here, 38 or 37. Either way, we're going to throw this out there for you guys to listen on your podcast, your devices. Also, Boo and Matt Scrow did a interview with the rugby girls, the winners, they're second place winners in their age.
Yeah. Hey, dude, man, I kind of felt bad, because I opened up the whole podcast with, like, it's kind of not normal to celebrate second place. And I realized what I said. I was like, oh, but it ain't that bad.
No,
you know what I said?
Awesome.
It's good.
It's great, man. I'm super proud of those girls. So we got.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You guys got to sit down with. I know Erica was
Liv
there.
Flores.
Yeah. Who was it?
Erica Kichichu and Taylor. I can't recall Taylor's
last
name.
Last name. Solis.
Okay.
So yeah.
Good.
Guys, watch out for that. Check that out, and yeah, stay tuned. We got web pages are in the works right now. We're working on a bunch of things for you guys. So just stick around, and thank you guys for joining us.
Hey, yeah, thank you, Mr. Who's this here right here? Marcel. Cartagena.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, man. Thanks for
appreciate
joining
it,
us and sitting in, bro.
And thanks for LJ or J Elijah. I can't.
I think that's
Is
Jaren.
that
I think
him?
that's
I cannot
Jaren.
see. I can't tell. I
Yeah.
can't tell. We're still new to this Blab thing. So if you guys are watching us on Blab, we're loving Blab. Like, we love this stuff. I mean, I'm glad these guys. This is gonna be the new YouTube. Or you know what I mean? This is gonna be YouTube on steroids. I can see it once they go public or something like that, and they get the real funding. Dude, I'm so excited for Blab. This is gonna open up a whole new friggin' ball game for the social world. Yeah, for Master Random, look out next week, same time, 11 a.m. tomorrow Standard Time. We're gonna have Zach Banner. Sorry again, guys. We apologize. We told you guys as soon as we knew everything was set up, we were ready to go, and Homeboy just just couldn't make it this week, but he will be here next week. He promised us, and hey, man, we're gonna be super excited to talk to him and get to know him a little better. So check us next time. Boo, hit him.
Yeah, I got Slush. It's Slush's birthday this week, so I'm gonna have him on the podcast. So look out for another Slush episode. That should be good. We got a lot of good episodes planned out for you guys, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. masterrandom.com/live for our live shows. Go to masterrandom.com to check out all our episodes. We're episode number 38 today. I'm gonna upload number 39 tomorrow, and we're on our way. We're trucking along, and we're really enjoying this, and we hope you guys are enjoying it too. And this is I love everybody.
Except for the old teachers.
I love all our listeners. Yeah, except for the old teachers. Get the motherfuckers. They got put them in different positions to where you don't have to deal with kids.
All right, man. All right. Thank you guys so much.
All right. TiVo's in Hawaii. The reason why we do this is because TiVo's in Hawaii. I'm here in Guam, and this is our way to connect, and we can connect with anybody from around the United States, around the world, maybe. Whoever. If you got ties to Guam, shit, we're talking to you. We love it. We love doing this, and this is something new for us. And so just bear with us as this is our second live show, and we're just kind of working the tweaks out here and there. But we're eventually gonna get it down.
All right, man. Thank you guys so much. Aloha and Hafa Day. Peace out, Guam, and everybody across the world.